Top 5 Scandals with British Intelligence. Chances are when you think of British spycraft, you think of James Bond, the brash, reckless, womanizing, mass murderer featured in dozens of films. Well, aside from his name and tendency to always come out on top, your assumptions are not too far off. British intelligence is actually an umbrella term for multiple agencies, such as the SIS, MI5, and others. But regardless of which agency you choose to zoom in on, its history holds its share of scandals. British intelligence has some less than intelligent moments, from questionable practices to undetected moles, from bungled operations to poorly kept secrets. This list brings together 5 of those moments, 5 of the biggest scandals in the history of British intelligence. 5. The Butler Review. The Review of Intelligence on Weapons of Mass Destruction, more commonly known as the Butler Review, was an official inquest by the British government into why and to what extent British intelligence had failed so utterly before and during the war. Boiling its findings down to their basic element, the inquest found that US intelligence had been irresponsibly unreliable, and British intelligence had done next to nothing to fix their Yank comrades' mistakes. 4. Operation Mass Appeal. Primarily carried out by MI6, Mass Appeal was the large-scale dissemination of exaggerated and even blatantly false information about Iraq, with the intention of drumming up public support for an invasion. UN Arms Inspector Scott Ritter wrote a tell-all book about his involvement in Mass Appeal, at one point stating diplomatically, "I was approached by the British Intelligence Service to see if there was any information that could be handed to the British so that they could, in turn, work it over, determine its veracity, and then seek to plant it in media outlets around the world." Part of this job took on a propaganda aspect. 3. The Venlo Incident. To be fair, the infamous Venlo incident was less of British intelligence failure and more a German intelligence success. But it's the responsibility of intelligence agents to outsmart their enemies, it's even in the name, so it's fair to call this a British failure. And a Dutch failure too, while we're at it. On November 9, 1939, 2 British spies, accompanied by 1 Dutch spy, traveled to the Dutch town of Venlo to meet with German officers who were allegedly willing to defect. Of course, this was all a ruse by German intelligence, leading to the Dutch agent's death and the capture of both British agents. As it came to be called, the Venlo incident had far-reaching ramifications for the war. It led to Winston Churchill forming an entirely new British intelligence organization and was used by Hitler to justify his invasion of the Netherlands the following month. 2. Spycraft. In 1987, a former high-ranking MI5 officer named Peter Wright released a memoir titled Spycraft, the candid autobiography of a senior intelligence officer. In the book, Wright detailed numerous questionable and ethically dubious practices by MI5 members that he had either researched or personally witnessed. The book was immediately banned in England, and any papers who dared to report on its contents found themselves hit with government-issued gag orders. Easily the best reaction to this was from The Economist, which reviewed the book and, due to a gag order, printed the review in every country except England. In England, they instead printed an otherwise blank page with the text, "In all but one country, our readers have on this page a review of Spycraft, a book by an ex-MI5 man, Peter Wright." The exception is Britain, where the book and comment on it have been banned. 1. The Cambridge Five. The story of the Cambridge Five and how they utterly outsmarted the entire country of England is easily the biggest scandal in the history of British intelligence. In fact, combing through list after list of British intelligence failures, the Cambridge Five are likely to be the top in most, and the individual 5 members on their own are most often the following 5 entries. The basic facts of the incident say it all. At least 5 undercover Soviet spies successfully infiltrated British intelligence and relayed state secrets to the Soviet Union for 2 to 3 decades. Moreover, they were only discovered when 2 of them fled to Moscow, and none of the 5 were ever prosecuted for their role as Soviet moles. Between the 1930s and 1950s, the Cambridge Five, so named because they had all attended Cambridge University, passed on an untold trove of information to the Soviet Union, completely undetected by British intelligence. Their eventual discovery caused panic among the international community, many beginning to wonder where else Soviet spies were embedding, eluding all detection.